Venezuela may be taking its first step toward a nuclear program, including one, maybe, that would include nuclear weapons. President Hugo Chávez says his government is beginning to research nuclear technology, but insists any atomic program would be for peaceful purposes. Where have we heard that line before? Peter Brooks is Senior Fellow for National Security Affairs at the Heritage Foundation. Peter, always good to see you. There is this mysterious commercial flight, Iran Air.
Right.
It's bi-monthly, Flight 744. Nobody seems to be able to book on that flight, including ourselves. We contact an Iran Air agent in the UK who told us two things. A, nobody's on this Thursday's flight, no passengers. And B, we can't seem to book you or anybody on that flight.
Right.
So what's going on?
Right. Well, Greg, actually, this is a Conviasa, which is Venezuela's national airline, and an Iran Air flight, a co-chair. And I'm not sure you'd really want to be on this flight. My understanding is that this may be carrying people like the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hezbollah, Quds Force. I mean, this flight goes from Tehran to Damascus in Syria, with occasional stops in Beirut, Lebanon, and then on to Venezuela, and then a return flight. So there's been a concern for a long time that this flight gets into Simon Bolivar Airport in Caracas, and then it goes through a separate immigrations and customs procedures, and which is different from regular passengers going into Caracas. So there's a lot of concern, a lot of mystery about this flight.
All right. Is there possibly a quid pro quo going on? That is, Hugo Chávez supplies uranium to Tehran, and Tehran, in turn, is exporting its nuclear technology to Caracas.
Well, there's a real concern about that. You know, the Russians actually signed an agreement with Venezuela a few months ago about talking about a nuclear power program. Obviously, we know what's going on with Iran with their runaway nuclear program that is probably really a nuclear weapons program. You know, nothing says power to a rogue state like a nuclear weapon. You know, Venezuela also sees how the international community has been unable to rein in the Iranian program. You know, this is what and at some point in the future, we could see our own Cuban Missile Crisis in Venezuela.
Well, that's what I was thinking. If I'm the nefarious leader of the Tehran regime, and I think that the U.S. or Israel might engage in a tactical strike on my nuclear facilities, what do? I build a duplicate facility in Venezuela, and it's a whole lot closer to hitting the U.S. from there.
That's another point as well. It's a very well taken. But the fact of the matter is right now, my real concern is that, you know, the Pentagon has reported that it's been an increase of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and Quds forces in Latin America, especially Venezuela. And if we or the Israelis make a strike on the Iranian nuclear program, they could be using Venezuela as a stepping off point or a base camp to attack our interests in the region or even in the United States.
Peter Brooks, as always, thank you very much.